This important fixture, that's Paddy O'Rourke, now in his third year in charge in the county. He has been talking to Darragh Maloney.
Paddy, first of all, are you playing as selected today?
We are. The 15 in the programme as 15 will start, yeah.
How have your preparations gone?
They've been fairly good. We obviously picked up one or two injuries like everybody else in club football, and it took a wee while to get them fellas back out on the field, but we'll be fairly happy that things went smoothly enough.
How important is home advantage to you today?
I suppose we like playing here. That is an advantage, but I always am a firm believer that any pitch is a pitch. It's all the same. The only difference about playing at home is probably that you don't have to travel as far, and it's a bit easier to organise it that way. But we don't mind if we play at home or away, but we're fairly happy. We like this ground. We're happy to play here.
These are huge games in Ulster for the two teams, but they're also national events as well. What makes them such a special encounter?
I think just the rivalry that there's been between the both sides. When both teams were sort of up there challenging for All Ireland honours, there was a lot of great games. They both got very talented young teams again. There's a lot of good quality in both teams, and I think the supporters recognise that both counties are rebuilding teams, and that excites them, and they look forward to seeing these new players coming and taking up the mantle.
Yeah.
Well, it is an important game, and I suppose for Tyrone, after doing well throughout the league, their system worked very well in Division 2, but I think there's an appreciable difference between Division 2 and Division 1, and Tyrone would be very glad simply to win this game today, because Sean Kavanagh's missing. They aren't the team that they were, and the players who haven't come through haven't stepped into the shoes of some of the great players who have gone. On top of that, they're not kicking the ball at all now. I know for a fact that they've been instructed not to kick the ball to their forwards. I mean, we saw last year Armagh were vulnerable to the ball being kicked early. Derry scored 316 off them, a Derry team playing off the cuff. As for Armagh, I think that they are very reliant on Jamie Clark getting a goal or two against the head to win this one. But I wouldn't like to be betting on it.
We've been looking at the two teams up close and personally, if you like.
Declan McKenna, Aidan Forker, Anto Duffy and Caelan Rafferty are in for the first time, and there are two Cross Midland players in this starting 15, Aaron Kernan and Jamie Clark. Tyrone have been hit by a huge injury crisis. 7 of the side, which beat Armagh in the qualifiers last year, are not involved today because of a combination of injuries and retirements. Aidan McCrory is new to Championship football at right corner back, as is Ronan McNabb, who plays at right half forward. And Brian Mallon with the free to give them the lead, and he's done just that. A point to no. Will take this himself. Kieran Toner was in Australia for 4 months. McMahon has leathered that, and the crowd reaction tells you it has sailed over. That's a great free with the angle even further than 45 metres out. And Tyrone draw level. Both scores coming from place balls, and that's a really good one for Joe McMahon.
Yeah, fantastic shot on the outside of his right foot. And just looking at it, Stephen O'Neill and Owen Mulligan they're trying to isolate those two guys inside. So Marty Penrose is just slipping out.
Significant enough to give a penalty. But Pascal McConnell's save, and then Justin McMahon took it away from the goal line. Goal scoring chance for Armagh, and they got in around the back very easily. Here's Sean O'Neill wearing that number 7 Tyrone jersey. Philip Jordan made it his own over the last 10 years. Colm Kavanagh, a little bit of open road in front of him. Aaron Kernan couldn't get close enough, and that's gone over. Quite a turnaround from almost conceding a goal about 30 seconds earlier down at the other end to Kavanagh, Colm that is, going up the other end and scoring a point his brother would have been proud of. Tyrone lead 2-1.
Oh, what a turnaround. Goal opportunity in the other square, and Colm just comes up the field and clips it over. But there was a lot of things in relation to that. There was a goal opportunity. Was it a penalty? Was there a foul? And then, of course, they took it in the end. Here we have it, a body check, blocked the player, in on goal. Fantastic save. Then it goes back to Jamie. I'm not sure that was a penalty. I think it was a good, fair tackle.
While you're watching that, Armagh attacking down at the other end, and that's been belted wide. Dropping incredibly deep on his own half-back line. Kieran Toner. Malachi Mackin. 2 around the middle have done all right for Armagh, and it's an area they're worried about. Kevin Dias. Caelan Rafferty looks lively, only 21 years of age. He's been marked by McMahon. Here's an opportunity now. Goal-scoring chance. It's buried by Aidan Forker. On his championship debut, the 20-year-old scores the first goal of the game. He's thrilled with that. was quite a soccer player in his day, but chose Gaelic football, and in that moment you can see why.
Yeah, very well done. Good ball in. I was thinking at this stage, what was Jamie Clark doing out around the middle of the field? But good play in, worked the ball into Aidan Forker, and he did it right. Just kept it low, passed it the goalkeeper, nice and low. Perfect finish. Very hard for a goalkeeper to get down that low and stop that ball.
What a start for Aidan Forker.
For somebody outside coming in looking at it.
Tony Kernan is on the bench as well. Armagh sucking players back and just making it so difficult. That was a foul by Malachy Mackin on Owen Mulligan. But this orange blanket screen, whatever you want to call it, in front of Mulligan as he got drawn out trying to win the ball. Colm Kavanagh on the Armagh 45-metre line. Took a hit from Toner, and that has gone high, and that is a very good score. Really fine point from Colm Kavanagh, his second of the afternoon, and that's the way to beat a blanket defence. Declan McKenna, that's loose, given straight to Cathal McCarran of Tyrone, and now it is Joe McMahon. McMahon letting the ball in. O'Neill, brilliant flick, great hands, and now it's Mark Donnelly. Will Tyrone get something out of this? Mulligan. Owen Mulligan has to score and does score, and that's quite a response to the shock Tyrone suffered with Aidan Forker's goal. Level for the second time, Mulligan off the mark.
Yes, and those forwards look lively. Even the flicks, everything looks to be done at speed with great intent. This could have been a goal if it just came off. Good defence, but get it back to Muggsy and straight over the bar. Very good forward line.
That was brilliant stuff. Free. Aaron Kernan, 59 points he scored in his championship career. Here's Brian Mallon. Mallon sending that in towards Jamie Clark, isolated against his marker. Clark jinking, weaving and scoring. That's what he can do. Get him the ball in the right areas and he'll beat his man every time, and more often than not will score.
And there's nothing a cornerback can do about it. You get a quick diagonal ball like we see here coming up. He just beats his man, quick diagonal ball. There's very little a cornerback can do about that. And you don't want to foul, and once he gets in, he should score all the time. With this
Tyrone wing forward, wearing number 10. Sean O'Neill. Now Owen Mulligan. That's Brendan Donaghy there with him, who was made to look a little on the foolish side. Mulligan has got 1 point already, taking a fair bit out of this, looking for a man in a better position. Who's Penrose? He had the shorts almost dragged off him, and that's a great point for Martin Penrose. Missed a free earlier on, but making up for that now. And Mulligan, well, was just teasing his marker, and Penrose, the pace was brilliant.
Ah, fantastic. Owen Mulligan has been doing that sidestep for the last 15 years, I think, but Martin Penrose finished it well.
Justin McMahon takes it, and Joe has a bit of open road in front of him, but Malachy Mackin just on his shoulder. Now it's Stephen O'Neill who is drawing Kieran McKeever out. Angles the pass into Owen Mulligan. Telepathy between the two of those. Now Peter Hart, we mentioned that he hadn't seen a lot of it. There you go. Peter Hart with a very fine point. First significant touch of the game, and he scores from it.
I was only watching him wondering how he was going to get into the game, Dara, because the play was passing him by, and the first significant opportunity he slots it over the bar. But we have a really good game here, Dara, a really good game. Two sides intent on playing football.
Mad defenders couldn't cope with the acceleration. Wouldn't look out of place in Poznan, would it?
Yeah, and well spotted, Joe McQuillan, because it was a right sneaky little pull in the jersey, just a half foul, as we say. But the funny thing about it, he was going away from the two men all the time.
Armagh making a change. Paul Duffy replacing Declan McKenna. So Declan McKenna's championship debut lasting only 19 minutes. And, well, Paddy O'Rourke recognising the issues that McKenna was dealing with, and the experienced Paul Duffy taking his place, and Owen Mulligan slots that over easily. Scored, that's 3 in a row for Tyrone. A huge kick from McAvoy. Kavanagh couldn't hang on to it. It's with Anto Duffy. And Tyrone happy to give away the free there. It was Ronan McNabb. They reset the defence, and Aaron Kernan with the outside of the left boot, letting Jamie Clark, his cross teammate, run onto that. Aidan McCrory there with him. Clark from a tricky angle, just nonchalantly sort of swung at that. It's a gorgeous point from Jamie Clark. Again, get him the ball. He does that.
Yeah, he kind of defies the logic of a modern day footballer, actually, because he looks quite an individual. I'd say he's not a guy that spends a lot of time in the gym by the looks of him, but he can do things like this. His innate ability just to flick it over the bar like that.
Went flying after that, but again it's Colm Cavanagh who comes up with the ball for Tyrone. Sean O'Neill, plenty of space for Conor Gormley. He kept Jamie Clark scoreless in the game last year. Now it's Stephen O'Neill, the Tyrone captain, tackled a little high. Oh, that's wonderful from Stephen O'Neill. We've got some great forwards who are on form on show today.
Oh, that's brilliant, Dara. Stephen O'Neill versus Kieran McKeever. Two great players, and this is a little cameo of the whole game. Fantastic. Beats his man, gets on that left leg, turns onto the right leg and straight over the bar. Fantastic play.
You're seeing two teams go at one another head for head,
Sean
man
Cavanagh.
for man, and it's producing some cracking football. I think Tyrone will be happier in
Watching
around
on,
midfield.
working with our colleagues from the BBC here in Armagh today.
Stevie's doing the damage, so.
Must be a pretty hard experience for him. Kevin Dias to not be playing. I mean,
back to you, Mark.
now Paul Duffy, the Armagh replacement, with McKenna gone. Now it's Caelan Rafferty again. There's a burst of pace there. Dias for Armagh. They needed that. Just a point back.
Again, Dara, that's really good football. It's great to see two teams intent on playing football, good passing, and every time there's a chance, there's not too many wides in that game. Kevin Dias kicking over the bar. That time in Australia certainly would have helped him develop as a footballer.
Sean O'Neill winning that from Pascal McConnell's kick out, and now sides have been level 3 times. Nicely done from Aidan Forker. McConnell has been busy with the kickouts in the last few minutes. Malachi Mackin appeared to be held by Conor Gormley. Referee didn't see it that way, and Gormley puts it forward, and now it's Colm Cavanagh, and Cavanagh took a hit from Duffy. Referee says play on, and that's slotted over by Mark Donnelly of Tyrone.
Yeah, Colm Cavanagh's having a big influence there, breaking from the back. Probably was a free, but in the end they deserved their point. Good score.
Textbook blocked down by McNabb. Stephen O'Neill fell awkwardly, but he's all right. Anto Duffy and now Aidan Forker punting that into the corner. Jamie Clark again glides away from McCrory, and Rafferty missed that, just seemed to take his eyes off it. Clark has it again. He's willing to shoot from almost anywhere, and he's put that one wide. It would appear the right hamstring is the issue.
And he's had a very good game. He's winning an awful lot of breaks from midfield, setting up the balls inside.
Well, he's really struggling there.
Yeah, well, a hamstring is something you can run off there if it's gone. He has.
Penrose, Anto Duffy there in front of him, and Penrose, the minute he hit that, he knew he'd scored. He didn't even watch to see it clear the crossbar. Ten points to 1-5.
Yeah, fantastic ball by Peter Hart into the corner. His man was just too far off him altogether, and you cannot give a class forward like that.
Huge amount of space in front of the Tyrone full forward line. Everybody almost bunched inside the 265s. Now Dermy Carlin, you get a glimpse of that space now. Well, you won't actually. Dermy Carlin, that looks fantastic from Carlin, the cornerback. He looked uncomfortable earlier on and didn't fancy himself to shoot, but he had a go at it there, and he was right to have a go. That's a great point from the left cornerback, Dermy Carlin. and some daylight opening up between Tyrone and Armagh as we head into added time. Brilliant point.
Yeah, fantastic score. Strong enough to push his man off and takes a score from about 35 yards. The way Tyrone play, it doesn't matter what position you're in, Derry. You could actually end up better, Dara, because they had 13 men behind the ball, every one of them working hard. Armagh's build-up is too slow. They should really get the ball in quicker because...
It is a good game of football, and you can see, though, that Tyrone's efficiency and composure and the fact that they make fewer mistakes, it's just starting to the gap's just starting to widen between the teams. And I said at the start of the game that it would need a couple of goals from Jamie Clark for Armagh, and I think that that's increasingly going to be, shown to be right, because Tyrone have a greater spread of scorers. They just have more composure. Their system works very well, and Armagh are increasingly reliant on kicking the ball to Jamie in awkward positions, and then he's feeling obliged to take chances on because there aren't really that many more options available. So it will require, I think, a goal or two. It's not impossible because Tyrone's full back line is porous. The problem is Armagh are taking so long to get the ball there.
Yeah, but I thought that maybe before this game that Tyrone were a bit like Kerry with some of the raging stars in terminal decline. But looking at Martin Penrose and Stephen O'Neill and Owen Mulligan, they're very hungry. They're wanting to get involved all the time. And whatever defensive strategy Armagh have devised, well, it's a mess and it's not working. A team to give away 11 points in one half is a huge amount of scores. Almost all of it from play as well. I thought the Armagh forwards were quite inventive when they get the ball inside. So it is a good open game of football. It's not sort of a traditional Ulster game at all. In fact, a lot of good kick ball and a lot of high quality scores from play.
Yeah, the Joe has gone in full back. This is Martin Penrose for the first point of the second half, and he's slotting over the point. Out. Here's Martin Penrose, and Penrose doesn't miss those. Advanced position. Caelan Rafferty. Brian Mallon chipping that forward. Here's Jamie Clark. They've got the ball to him. He spins McRory. They need a score now. Clark from a tricky angle has nailed that one. It's 2 apiece since the second half began. .65. Here's Paul Duffy now for Armagh. Caelan Rafferty. Indeed, it's not Rafferty, it's McParland, and that's a really good point from Gavin McParland, the number 25. First meaningful thing he's done at the start of the second half. 2 in a row. And you can hear the roar as the ball is returned from the crowd, from the Armagh followers here. Kevin Dias pushing Tyrone back, but they need to move the ball in quickly. Paul Duffy does move it in quickly. McParland couldn't hang on to it first time. McParland shoot on sight. He's made quite an impression since coming on. Scored one fantastic point in the 9th minute of the second half, and here we are now in the 14th minute. Tyrone leading, but only by the bare minimum.
A good direct ball into the full forward into Gavin, and he just turns on his left and straight over the bar. Very hard for anybody to do anything about it. Armagh have gone man-to-man, Dara. We've seen, particularly in Ulster football, but in football in general, most teams playing mass defences and all this. Armagh today are gone man-to-man in all their game, all their players. And it's made for a very entertaining game when they have the ball.
Well, the stoppage at the moment is for an injury. Could be another hamstring issue for Finian Moriarty. The good stuff that Armagh have played. This to push Tyrone further in front. He won't be bothered by the whistles. They're not welcome. But Martin Penrose shutting the ears and slotting the ball over the bar. McCarran of Tyrone. Ronan McNabb has really lasted the pace extremely well. He missed training, several days training over the last couple of weeks with an injury, and Armagh, the card will be out, you would think, for Kevin Dias. They're going to make another substitution. So Dias booked. He's gone off, so They make that switch. Sean O'Neill belts that in towards Stephen O'Neill. Donaghy's struggling. O'Neill can win it from here for Tyrone, you would think. Just managed to get rid of it. Did he throw it? Here's Martin Penrose on his right foot. And they get a point out of the attack. There was a goal chance on there, and O'Neill just couldn't wriggle free to take the shot. Donaghy was all over the place.
Yes, O'Neill did everything right except he lost his footing. He still didn't give away the ball, gave it back to Penrose, and that man is all over the place. Kicked it with his right leg this time over the bar. Peter